Titan Souls was a pretty cool little game. It was quick and fun but told an awesome story. I felt that the whole experience was very immersive due to a lot of things. But in this video, we'll be going over exactly what the audio did to make this game what it is. So the game is basically just a boss room style game where you fight titans one at a time. There are no other enemies or objectives, just kill the titans. You can walk, run, roll, shoot a single arrow, and retrieve your single arrow. As for the character sounds, I thought they served their purpose well. At first, I wasn't completely in love with the rolling sound because it felt a little flappy to me. And I expected something a little bit more rumbly and something that sounded like it was on concrete. But throughout the game, the titans that you fight make a lot of low, rumbly sounds. A very important and difficult part of making audio in games is the mix of your sound effects. If you have a bunch of low sound effects playing at the same time, it'll be difficult for any of them to stand out on their own from each other. So what Titan Souls did is create a higher frequency rolling sound to make it stand out from the lower and rumbly sound that happened throughout the game. Higher pitched sounds are usually easier to hear and audibly take priority over lower pitched sounds. And with this, it becomes much easier to hear all of the sounds of the character over all of the music, ambiences, and titans moving around. When you have a sound effect play for actions that are controlled by the player, this is giving direct feedback to the actions that they are performing. If the player runs, they hear footsteps, and the player is actually able to focus on the things that are attacking them in the game without looking at their character to know the action that they are performing, because the sound is being played to let them know, also known as them receiving feedback. But if the roll sound is being covered up by the titan movements, then they aren't getting that feedback anymore, or at least not as clearly as they could be. It just becomes jumbled. Having a higher pitched roll sound actually helps it stand out above the rest of the sounds in the game. As for the other sounds that the character makes, they sound pretty good. One of the cooler sounds being the arrow retrieve sound. When you shoot your arrow and you retrieve it, it actually lowers the volume of the game behind it, which makes you focus on the arrow being retrieved more. It's a nice subtle way to immerse the player into the game. And it also sounds like they used a light low pass filter on the background sounds as well when you retrieve the arrow. For those who don't know, a low pass filter is an effect that cuts out the higher frequencies in a sound to help the lower frequencies stand out more. One of the best parts of Titan Souls is its synchronization of audio and gameplay. For most actions in the game seems to do something to change your listening experience. I don't mean just pairing up a sound effect with a footstep or playing a rolling sound when the hero rolls. I mean more so sound manipulation that changes the experience of the game. A great example of this is when you're about to enter a Titan room. A Titan room is just a room where you fight a Titan. But as you approach the door of one of these rooms, a very eerie ambience fades in as you get closer. It does an excellent job of building tension in the game, and it's an excellent anticipatory sound. Then when you actually enter a Titan room, it relieves the tension by playing a similar sound, but with a climax. The eerie sound effect blends with the calming music from the hub world and makes a very slow transition, and turns it into a much more subtle emotional change as a result. And then when you are in the room after the audio climax, the music cuts out and won't play again until you leave the room, or until you activate the fight with the Titan. So when you enter the room, it's just you, and whatever sound the hero makes. This is a great demonstration of audio dynamics from Titan Souls. Audio dynamics are simply the differences in volume between multiple sounds. When there's a lot of audio playing and it's loud and it suddenly cuts out or lowers in volume or even raises in volume, this is what we call audio dynamics, which is what changes before and after you enter the Titan room. It's nice to have audio dynamics because it helps vary the player's listening experience in the game. Using audio dynamics to your advantage can be an excellent way to help enhance the story your game is telling. An awesome showing of this is when you actually defeat a Titan. Most of the Titans in Titan Souls only take one hit to die, but it's really difficult to hit the sweet spot that kills the Titan. During your fight, the Titan is moving around, you're shooting your arrow and rolling around, and keep in mind, the game is extremely difficult. So most of the game you are fully focused on trying to keep your eye on everything on screen so you can stay alive. And going back to the higher pitched character sounds for a moment, the higher pitched sounds really help you focus on what's happening during these Titan fights, because they're so fast paced and you're at risk of death at just about every second of the fight. It just proves to be a very properly mixed game. So you've been fighting this Titan for a while, and you finally hit that sweet spot. The screen flashes, and the music and sounds cut out entirely. There's just dead silence and the background ambience. I'll just let you experience what happens from here. Your arrow is still stuck in the Titan, and you begin to pull the arrow back. When you start to pull on the arrow, the timpani slowly rise up in volume until you pull the arrow out entirely. Keep in mind that the timpanis actually play only when you are pulling the arrow. You can start and stop this at any time until the arrow is pulled. And when the arrow is pulled out, choirs come in and create an ominous and chaotic atmosphere. The soul of the Titan comes towards you and lifts you into the sky, and plays what sounds like an orchestra playing in rewind extremely quickly. That's just a random thought of one of the layers that could be played, but it's probably a bunch of unique sounds combined in there. But the volume gets very loud in this section. Then the sequence ends. No more sound is being played, and you go back to the hub world and continue your journey with the hub world music playing, where the game's audio goes back to its normal volume. This is what I mean by Titan Souls having a great demonstration of synchronization of audio and gameplay. The audio dynamics actually match what's happening in the game, and it's mostly by the will of the player, which gives off a pretty awesome feeling. The audio dynamics in Titan Souls seem to flip-flop from loud to soft constantly throughout the game. The thing that stands out to me the most in Titan Souls is its dynamics, and I feel that having a nice variation of volumes throughout the game can really play with your emotions. It could have been very easy for Titan Souls to have it just all played out and sequenced to a formula. They put it all in the player's hands. But by having stuff like having sounds fading in and out when you approach the doorways, or even when you're pulling the arrow, really adds a lot to help grab the player's attention. I think if there's one thing I can say about Titan Souls, I would say that it is its ability to tell an awesome story. And there's a lot to take away from Titan Souls in all mediums of the game. And I feel that the audio does not fall short of this either. Thanks for watching.